Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining. We are at 1 o'clock. It appears that we do have quorum. For those individuals that have not yet renamed themselves from Brantford panelist, if you can go ahead and do so, or if you'd like to unmute right now and let me know what your name is and I will rename you, and then we will get started. We're going to start today with the election of the chair and the vice chair. If those individuals want to just let me know their names right now, I'll just quickly rename you.
Chris Ayers.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay, and I just see one other individual there named Brantford, or two more named Brantford panelists. You guys just want to unmute yourselves and let me know your names.
Hi, I'm Tracy Burgess. I tried to change the name, but it didn't
I'll go ahead
work.
and try again there.
Hi, Rebecca Moscow. I think I've changed my name.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Okay, so we do have quorum this afternoon, so we are going to go ahead. My name is Lisa Madden. I'm the committee coordinator with the City of Brantford. We're going to start today with the election of the chair and the vice chair. So I'm looking for any nominations for chair. If you'd like to nominate someone, you can just raise your hand and state who you want to nominate, or if you'd like to nominate yourself, you're more than welcome to do that as well. I know it seems intimidating. You do have that chair's roadmap there. We do need a chair to go ahead with the meeting. Is there anybody that would be interested in chairing the meeting? We need a chair in order to go ahead.
If we are stuck, I can chair.
Excellent. Thank you, Councillor Van Tilburg.
But my shift work does not make me a good chair if you follow my logic, that's all.
Yes, I understand. I've seen your schedule, so I know there is some difficulties there. Is there somebody, if we can acclaim Councillor Van Tilburg to the chair, unless there are any other nominations? Seeing no other nominations, we will place Councillor Van Tilburg in the chair. Is there somebody that would like to nominate themselves as the vice chair? So in Councillor Van Tilburg's absence, you will be the chair. Seeing Rebecca Moscow raise her hand. You would like to be chair?
I'll volunteer.
Okay, so you will be acclaimed to vice chair and your term will expire January 27th, 2023. Thank you, folks, both of you. Councillor Van Tilburg, do you have the roadmap in front of you today?
Certainly, any declarations of conflict of interest? Hearing none, we have a presentation from Tracy Burgess. So I guess we can start with that. Go ahead, Tracy.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Tracy Burgess. I am a coordinator for park and trail projects. We have a few projects that we just would like to bring to you they're all in different stages at this point. We haven't brought any projects to you for a little while now, so that's something we're going to keep up on, and hopefully we'll keep you in the loop every step along the way. If I provide too much information, let me know. If I don't provide enough, let me know so I can get better at this. So I'll just start off with the projects that we have. We have Wayne Gretzky Parkway Trail and Powerline Road Trail. If you're not familiar with the trail system, these trails run parallel to the Powerline Road and the Wayne Gretzky Parkway. Along the Powerline Road, it runs east-west between Brantwood Park Road, and the east end of the trail is the Wayne Gretzky Parkway. Sorry, the west end of the trail is the Wayne Gretzky Parkway. At approximately midpoint in the trail, there's a connection to Andrew Pate Park, which is along Viscount Drive. The trail along Wayne Gretzky Parkway runs north-south, and the portion that we have construction under begins at Powerline Road at the north and then ends at Dunstan Street to the south. It also has a connection at Childerhouse Crescent. The surface of both of these trails have been declining, and they're being replaced with new asphalt. And then as we're doing that, the ends of the trails always meet at a sidewalk. So we're installing tactile plates at each intersection where we get to a sidewalk. Construction has started. We've gotten the first layer of asphalt down, and it's going to continue in the spring when the weather's more favorable for construction. I don't know if we want to do questions all at the end, if there's any questions, or I'll just keep going.
Yeah, just keep going, and then I think people will ask any questions as need be.
Okay, thank you. So then Jubilee Terrace is the next project. That's it's relating to the howitzer cannon. Jubilee Terrace is located on the corner of Brant Ave and Colburn Street beside the Brantford Armories. The current site has an interlocking brick walkway that leads from Prince Crescent, which is close to the Armories, and ends at the beginning of the Lorne Bridge. At present, the howitzer cannon is located on a concrete pad with no physical connection to the walkway. And the proposed design includes new concrete walkways replacing the interlock brick walkway, as well as a new walkway that will connect, provide a pedestrian link through the park from Colburn Street to Brant Ave along the sidewalk. The new design includes a small plaza that's located centrally in the space, and the plaza will provide space for a future recognition wall to be installed on it, and new benches will be installed along the pathways. There'll be a space that's available to sit beside each bench, and then a connection to a new larger concrete pad that will house the cannon is also included. And there will be pedestrian access to the cannon and around the cannon, as well as lighting that will light from the ground up of the cannon. It'll be flush with the ground, so it won't trip hazards or anything. Because the cannon kind of extends face level, we're going to have a cane detection rail underneath the cannon part so that we don't have to worry about running into it if you're walking with a cane. I think that's it for that one. Oh, we're also going to have some garden space around the area with annuals and perennials. The next project is the Dufferin Park upgrades. Dufferin Park is located at 164 St. Paul Ave. It's situated in a mature neighborhood bordering the W. Ross McDonald School for the Blind. And the park has a long established history of housing the Dufferin Tennis Club and the Lawn Bowling Club. It has a ball diamond and a playground deep in the property behind the club, and a flexible open space field, as well as a gravel parking lot. The master plan for the design was completed in 2021. It's going to address the whole park. The plan includes the reorganization of all of the amenities in the park. The park is like a deep rectangle shape with a short frontage along St. Paul Ave, and it reaches deep into the block. Currently, the clubhouse, tennis courts, and lawn bowling take up about the entire frontage of the park. And you may not even realize that the rest of the park is there if you drive by. It kind of blocks the views into the majority of the park. So the new plan looks to push the tennis courts further to the back of the park and will connect all of the amenities with paths and long open lawn area. State-of-the-art tennis courts will have opportunities for pickleball on designated courts. And the new building will be not just a clubhouse, but available to the entire neighborhood. And it will be centrally located in quite a bit smaller building than what's there now. It'll have 2 universal washrooms, one that will be accessible from like the exterior of the park when the actual building's not in use, and then one that's available from inside the building if you're renting or using the meeting space. It also includes storage and maintenance rooms along with that small meeting room. New accessible playground and multi-use court are located more towards the front of the park, closer to St. Paul Ave, with a new asphalt parkway or parking lot. It has approximately 50 spaces, and 4 of those are accessible spaces. All the pathways will be paved. There'll be picnic shelters, benches with seating beside them. Landscaping will all link the spaces together. So the Lawn Bowling Club will be removed from this site, and it's planned to go to the Walter Gretzky Sports Center. And this plan is expected to have the construction drawings completed and construction to begin in the fall of 2022, likely a phased approach with completion in 2023. The next project is there's a project called the Tira Gardens, we call them. That's the Trail Improvement and River Access Recognition Garden. So the Brant Waterways Foundation has launched a trail improvement and river access funding campaign to inspire healthy communities. In recognition of the contributions, a recognition feature has been designed for installation near the picnic pavilion at Waterworks Park. The recognition garden will include a secondary path through 3 gardens and recognize the importance of the forest ecosystem. The intention is that the secondary path will be a packed stone dust surface. It connects an asphalt path to a mown grass path, and it will connect to the picnic pavilion as well. So the intention is that the stone dust path would reduce the impact on the roots of the surrounding forest. That's why we were struggling with that surface a little bit. I know it's not the most favorable to everybody. If you have any comments, I'm happy to hear them. Additionally, we'll have some signage in place to recognize contributions to the campaign. And then the last little project I just wanted to mention is a gazebo in Lorne Park. So a new gazebo has been proposed in Lorne Park. It would be just off of the main path in the park, and it will be flush with grade on a concrete base. And then it will not have any railings constricting it, but some gardens along the 2 sides of the gazebo. And there'll be benches along paved paths that will connect the gazebo to the immediate paved pathway. And then the benches will have seating opportunities along the path. And then it's intended that if somebody needed to rent the gazebo for pictures or weddings or whatever they would like to do, if they needed picnic tables in it, that would be something that they could organize through Park Services. So that's the quick rundown.
Tracy, I have a question regarding the gazebo. It's Jenny.
Yeah.
I believe we had this discussion, but if you could confirm for the committee, sometimes gazebos have a step into them. Will this one be flush to the surrounding area?
Yep, our intention is that it will be flush, like not stepped up, not stepped down. You could, no trip hazards, flush with a walkway that connects to the gazebo.
Thank you. Is that the end of your presentation, Tracy?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. I didn't know if
Yeah.
I know you're partway through that gazebo. I didn't know if you actually ended it. So if there's any questions regarding the trails, Jubilee, Dufferin Park, the Walter Getzig Sports Center, the Waterworks Park, or the gazebo, feel free to raise your hand either physically or electronically, and I'll see it. And hopefully Tracy can answer your questions. Any questions? Okay, I don't see any questions, but I have one of my own. If you're blind and we have those devices like that are on the Apple phone that tell you where things are in the community, like say that the new artillery piece in Jubilee Park, right now you're saying you're going to connect the walkway to it, but will that show up on their devices to say that cannon's over here?
I have never worked with that, but I think that that's something that we should probably incorporate into more of our parks.
Exactly.
Yeah, like any playground, anything really.
Yes.
And then it could have like information connected to that link, maybe.
Certainly, and I was just thinking if we could have like a review possibly of all these things, like along the trails. We've got lots of things that happen along the trails, and if we have an order of easiest to do to trickier to do based on whatever logistics are behind that technology, that would be great to have a follow-up on.
Yeah, is there like a project in place that would maybe be working to have that implemented in multiple places?
Well, Jenny, how does that work with like the Sanderson Center and that for the indoors and Harmony? You know what I'm speaking of?
Yes, through the chair. I believe you are speaking of Blind Square, which is typically used for indoor navigation only.
Only, okay. I thought it had it, because I thought it could pick things out at Harmony Square in the open, but I guess I'm wrong.
I'm sure there is other technology. I'm just not aware of what that is offhand. I do know that Google does have a program for navigation. And I forget what that is called off the top of my head as well, but
Yeah.
that's something we can look into.
Well, something like that, you'd almost have to pinpoint like where that cannon is so that they could walk up to it and touch it if they were walking by, saying it's off to your right, and then, you know, that kind of thing. So perhaps if there is a way to do some further investigation, if there's an outside component, that's what's on my mind. Madison.
I'm just wondering, is the Dufferin Tennis Club's remodeling going to be one level?
Yeah, it's intended that like the site's pretty flat as it is. So all pathways, all accesses to playgrounds, tennis courts, everything would be flush, no steps or anything. And then the surfacing of the playground also would be that wood chips, wood fiber. So it's supposed to be wheelchair accessible. It's pretty good. The other alternative would be rubber surfacing, and that's quite expensive.
I'm just wondering about the building structure to washrooms as well.
Yep, that is intended to be one level. No barriers there. I know the current building has stairs up and stairs down. Nothing like that. That's the main reason why we want to redo the building.
Thank you.
Okay, Rebecca.
Hey, I was just wondering, you mentioned benches at a couple of the sites, and I was wondering about the style of bench that'll be used.
I think the intention is to use our current park bench style at Dufferin and so like we have two styles. We have that wooden plank park bench style, and then we have like the black steel style. So the black steel style would be at the Cannon at Jubilee Terrace, because that's more of a formal park. And then some of our more informal parks get the standard wooden bench.
Just because I'm a little newer to Brantford, my apologies.
Yeah, that's okay.
Do they have the armrests in between blocking it up, either of them?
The black steel benches that are in the formal parks do, but the park benches currently don't. That is something that we have looked into to try to maybe have like an aftermarket armrest that could bolt on. I can look into
I'm
it further.
actually more opposed to the armrests personally. I find
Okay.
they block up the spaces and make it less accessible for me personally, at least.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I think that our fads say that they want an armrest on them, and we don't have one currently for those park benches. There's hundreds in the city. So is that something that we would want to add to them? Is that something we wouldn't want to add to them? We'd have to kind of discuss a little further, I think.
All right, awesome, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good comment.
Any further questions? Well, seeing none, I'll say thank you, Tracy, for your presentation.
Thank you for listening.
Okay, I guess we got items to consider now, the capital projects that we just heard the presentation on. Do I need a motion to put that on the floor? I believe I do, if people wish to discuss it.
That's correct, Councillor Van Tilburg. If we could have a motion to put it on the floor.
Anyone wish to put the Brantford capital projects on the floor? Well, then we won't have a discussion on it. Our next item is 5.2, the standardization of the audible signals. That's regarding the signal lights and how we implement them going forward. Anyone wish to have a discussion on that and put a motion to have it on the floor? Okay.
Councillor Van Tilburg, before we go ahead to move these items onto the floor, I believe Chris Gemmer was going to give a presentation, or at least an overview on these push buttons.
I don't see that on my list, but you know what?
At 5.2?
5.2, didn't have that it was going to be spoken to. But I'm happy. Chris, how about her?
Good afternoon. So I'm Chris Gimmer. I'm the supervisor of traffic services, and we look after the signals, the traffic signals. What we are here to talk about today is the standardization of the audible push buttons that we use. Currently, we have about 78 intersections that are completed with the Polara buttons. If you're not familiar with the kind of their look and their design, I have one here. It's kind of in pieces, but I can kind of show it to you. We've been installing these for 5 years, and our standardization is up and due for renewal. We would like to renew with the same model, basically because of familiarity with them, and also that they do have a few new features which we would like to present. We've started last year. They have wave technology now, which means you don't actually have to touch the buttons. As long as you're close within, I'd say 10 centimeters of them, they will activate for you, which is a new feature. And I'm going to say late spring. I don't have a date yet. We do have an app technology that once you are in range, you can have the buttons also activate for you with the location and which direction you're going. We will be, hopefully with your recommendation, we will be presenting this to council for a 5-year renewal of the standardization of the buttons. If any questions, please feel free.
I see no questions, but I have some. How many lights have we done so far?
We have 150 intersections and we've completed 78 to date.
78 today. And if we move a set of lights, I know that there's we've got some talk of moving some lights around Eagle Place up and down Erie Ave. Do you know if there's lights like that installed at Erie Ave and Port Street on that set of lights?
I think that is, yes, I think we do on that one because that is basically a pedestrian crossing.
Yes.
And we've tried to hit most of those ones first. If not, it'll be on the list for this year.
All right. And so if we do move that and we move it to another location specifically for pedestrian crossing, I would assume it would move with it?
Yes, it would.
Okay. And so how long would it take us to complete again all the lights in this next phase?
Our plan is to have everything completed by 2025 to have all intersections done. That was came out through an AODA report that they wanted everything accessible by 2025 if we could do it. So that's what we're basing our plans on.
Okay, so we're not trying to beat that number. We're trying to meet that number.
We're trying to meet it. If we get done before that, that would be great. But just because of work involved, we also, when we do these buttons, we are looking at hopefully starting this year, improving the concrete pads or access to the buttons around them. So that's just another phase that we do have a fair bit of work to do.
Very good. Anybody come up with some questions for Chris? Seeing none. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate your presentation. So these items for consideration, I believe we have to vote on them to move forward. Is that correct?
So we'll need a mover and seconder to place the items on the floor, and then we can vote on them. So we're looking for a mover and seconder for 5.1, the Brantford Capital Projects Update. That's the trail and park construction projects update. So mover and seconder for those to start.
Thank you, Bev. Is moving. Seconder? Thank you, Sandy. All in favor? Raise your hand. It looks unanimous. All opposed? I see none opposed. Okay, that passes. And now we'll move to the standardization of audible signals, audible push buttons. Can I have a mover? Thank you, Mary. And a seconder? I saw Chris's hand up earlier. How about I have you as a seconder? Is that good? Very good. Chris will be the seconder. All in favor? Raise your hands. I think that's unanimous as well, but I'll say all opposed just in case. Yep. No opposed. The minutes of last month. Any errors or omissions? Or our last meeting was in November. Are there any errors or omissions that anyone can identify? Seeing as no hands are being raised, can we have a motion to put the minutes on the floor? Thank you, Bev, and a seconder. Thank you, Mary. All in favor of the minutes, raise your hand. All opposed? There's no one opposed. There are no resolutions. There are no notices of motion. Before we go, are there any comments? Because otherwise we're going to have a very quick meeting and hit adjournment. If there's anything on anyone's mind, if you wish to say something that hadn't been on this agenda that you want to speak about, because we haven't met in a while, we've got a little bit of time if anybody has something they wish to bring to my attention or the others. Oh, we're a quiet group. All right, then, meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.